who is here to speak directly to the concerns that have been raised and to outline actions being taken going forward. To ensure we use our time effectively and cover the concerns submitted, tonight's discussion will follow a structured format. We will move through the major points that have consistently emerged from students, parents, faculty, alumni, and community stakeholders. We are one Bulldog family, and families have difficult conversations, not to divide, but to strengthen. South Carolina State University has stood for 130 years because of resilience, accountability, and community. Difficult moments do not define us, how we respond does. We appreciate your engagement, your questions, your commitment to the safety and strength of this institution. President Conyers, is there anything you would like to add before we begin?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Pointer, for leading this. Good evening, everyone. Before we discuss policies, procedures, or our next steps, we must first pause and acknowledge the profound impact these recent shootings have had on our students and on the entire South Carolina State University community. Lives were lost, families are grieving, friends are grieving, our campus is grieving. We honor the lives lost, we extend our deepest condolences to their loved ones, and we stand in support of every student, faculty member, staff member, alumnus, and parent who has been affected. These were not abstract events. They were deeply personal, and they have shaken our sense of safety and stability. The investigation into this incident is being handled by the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, SLED. Because of this ongoing investigation, the university is not at liberty to discuss the specific details. We will not speculate, and we will not release information that could jeopardize the integrity of the investigation or any potential prosecution. Protecting the investigative process is essential to ensuring accountability and justice. What we can speak to is our commitment to communication. Initial notifications were sent out within hours of the incident through official university channels, including direct alerts, the university website, and university newsletters. We will continue to use these official platforms as the primary source of verified information. Again, as the primary source of verified information. We strongly encourage parents and family members to take 2 immediate steps to remain informed. Sign up for the Bulldog News through the Parent Portal section of the university website to receive official updates. Download and register for the Rave Guardian app, which provides real-time emergency alerts and safety resources. Timely, accurate communication is a shared responsibility, and these tools help ensure that families receive information directly and information that is reliable. Tonight, our focus is forward on accountability, transparency, and concrete steps being taken to strengthen safety across our campus. But we begin from a place of remembrance, respect, and resolve. We owe nothing less to those lives that were lost and to every member of this university community. Again, thank you all for being on tonight. I know how important this is, and I really, really am appreciative of all of the prayers, the text messages, and concerns that has been relayed to me personally. While I attempted to answer all of the emails that came to me, I was not able, nor do I communicate official business via Facebook or any other social media platform. So I encourage you, if you have not signed up through the Parent Portal to receive timely, reliable, verifiable information, to please do so. Thank you.
Thank you, President Conyers. So we'll begin. Campus access and visitor control. What permanent changes are being implemented regarding visitation, guest registration, vehicle entry, ID enforcement, and pedestrian access to ensure only authorized individuals are on campus and that all visitors are off campus by 9 p.m.?
Yes, let me first by stating that although we are a public university, the university will limit access to this institution. Again, not restrict, but we will significantly reduce access to the university, keeping in mind that we are a public university. So immediately, we're starting with visitor management and registration. All non-student visitors will be required to present government-issued ID for scanning and verification at our visitor gate. Visitor access will automatically expire at 9 p.m. unless specifically approved for university-sponsored events. Again, let me be clear, this is not a curfew for students. All students, whether they're residing on or off campus, will continue to have access to our campus after 9 p.m. Students do not have to be in their rooms after 9 p.m. This 9 p.m. limitation will be enforced for non-student visitors. Again, this is the start point. With all of these changes, we will evaluate and make changes as necessary. There will also be an increase in health and safety checks across the entire campus to ensure that visitors are leaving by 9 p.m. Visitors remaining on campus with a student after 9 p.m. will be escorted off campus, and students will be cited for violation of university policy. Vehicle entry and monitoring. License plates will be scanned at the gate via LPR, license plate readers, at the vehicle access points. The university will also increase the frequency of random vehicle searches, regardless of the gate entry. So again, although we have designated a visitor's gate, there will be random checks at the student gates. There will be random checks at the faculty and staff gate. Again, we increase the opening of gates so that while we conduct these random checks, while we increase these random checks, we do not cause a bottleneck for students, for faculty and staff, and for visitors getting on campus. So we understand the need to open additional gates, and that's what we have done. Testing access via opening additional gates. Students will now have to enter via the Gulf Street gate, and all students must present valid ID and a valid parking decal. So I want to say to parents, if you have a student here at the university with a vehicle, please ensure that he or she has a valid vehicle decal. 2 years ago, that decal costed $60. I removed that cost from students to remove that barrier. There's absolutely zero excuses for a student not having a valid vehicle decal. Additional gates may be opened as necessary to reduce traffic and bottlenecks if needed necessary in the future. The pedestrian access point. Designated pedestrian entry points will be reduced and monitored. Enhanced lighting and camera coverage will be installed at all walking access points to include coming over the bridge from Campus Corner and UV. There will be a badge control gate installed there, restricting non-students from coming across the bridge onto our campus. And again, student and visitors' IDs will be conducted. ID checks will be conducted. A structured parent check-in process will allow short-term access for drop-off and medical assistance. We understand the need for parents and especially guests bringing large items to campus, the need to get closer to the dorms for unloading and loading, just like any other high traffic area such as a hotel. We also recognize the importance of remaining ADA compliant, so we will ensure that those with wheelchair access are still granted access to our dormitory and our other visiting areas. Parents assisting students with documented medical or mobility needs will receive temporary access authorization. These measures balance campus security with reasonable community access and will be evaluated continuously for effectiveness.
Thank you, President Conyers. All right, so we'll move to weapons, drugs, and housing enforcement. What specific enforcement protocols are being implemented to address illegal weapons, drug activity, unauthorized residence, and inconsistent room inspections in campus housing?
Yes, very, very important. Thank you. So, room inspections. Documented, scheduled room inspections will be increased so that they occur consistently across all housing units. additional random health and wellness, health and safety inspections will be conducted. Inspection protocols will be standardized and audited to include the search for contraband items such as drugs and weapons. Residents, life, staff will conduct coordinated enforcement with campus police as needed. K-9 units will be utilized periodically in accordance with law and university policy. Unauthorized occupancy will result in disciplinary action for the host, resident, or student. Again, I want to remind parents and students that firearms are strictly prohibited in student housing. Any student caught with a weapon will be dealt with to the fullest extent allowed by university policy and state law. University policy allows for students to be expelled for having a weapon on campus. State law allows for a student to be charged up to $1,000 and sentenced to no more than 1 year in prison. Any violation will result in immediate interim suspension pending judicial hearing from university officials. So again, we've been asked that many times, are weapons allowed on campus? The answer to that is no. As no weapon is allowed in the dorm or on a person on the campus. Student accountability. This is huge. The university is strengthening student accountability measures to ensure that conduct expectations are clear, consistently enforced, and aligned with campus safety priorities. Students must understand that they will be held accountable for the actions of their guests while on campus. The student code of conduct is being reviewed to ensure consistent minimum sanctions for weapons possessions, drug distribution or possessions, unauthorized guest, violent conduct, and sanctions will be applied uniformly across housing facilities. Student education is a huge part of this. Re-education of our students is a must. The re-education of students on state drug laws and the student code of conduct to be implemented at many different events: freshman orientation, University 101, student leaders training, emphasized by all athletic teams and coaches, and student-led PSAs, public service announcement that will run in public spaces across campus, reminding students of their own accountability and responsibility, as well as visitors to our campus. Enforcement and the re-education efforts will prioritize deterrence, documentation, and immediate response by law enforcement.
Thank you. We'll move to security staffing, training, and compliance. Are campus police officers academy certified and enforcing policies consistently?
Yes, all campus police officers are SWAN Law Enforcement Academy certified law enforcement professionals. A staffing review is underway to address vacancies and assure appropriate coverage at all levels. Gate officers are being retrained with updated enforcement protocols that we're establishing now. Officers will assist with room inspection to ensure safety during all health and safety inspection. Let me be clear that police officers cannot legally search a room. However, our housing personnel can conduct health and safety inspection. Upon finding contraband such as weapons or drugs, they can then call for law enforcement to that room, for that then switches from a health and safety check by housing personnel to a law enforcement incident. Increased patrol visibility has been implemented in all residential areas and will continue as needed, including the manning and the staffing of the safety hub that was installed at Hugueny Suites, with those personnel in that hub being responsible solely for monitoring the areas at Hugueny Suite. Now, while you may ask, well, if that's the case, what happened last week? Again, all of the cameras throughout any college is in the exterior perimeters and within campus. There are no cameras in private rooms. There are privacy laws that prevent this. And while this did happen in the Hugueny Suites area, this last incident happened within the dorm room.
Thank you. All right, let's see here. All right, so we'll move over to mental health post-crisis stabilization. What formal post-crisis stabilization measures are in place to address trauma, fear, and community morale?
Yes, currently on campus, we have access to counseling for students, faculty, and staff. For students, it's free. For faculty and staff, it's provided through workplace insurance. The very next day, we had counseling services available. After meeting with student leaders on Friday, we also canceled classes for Monday so that students, if needed, would have another day to deal and cope with it, but more importantly, to schedule counseling sessions. So again, we track those sessions. We know the exact number of counseling sessions that occur each week. Our students are utilizing those resources, and we encourage them to continue to do so. We expanded our counseling hours to include both in-person and online. Again, these counseling sessions are available both in person, on campus, as well as online. And our students are given this information consistently through our student email portals. So our students are well aware, and they are taking advantage of these opportunities. We plan to continue this trauma-informed training for residents, life staff, so that they can adequately respond to the needs of students that they oversee. We're seeking faculty guidance on classroom flexibility and student support. We are also encouraging peer support programming led by student leaders and the Office of Student Life. Safety is both physical and emotional. We fully recognize that, and we are addressing them both.
Thank you. I think our students will appreciate this question. With new visitation rules, how will campus safety policies impact concerts, Bulldog Fest, homecoming, and other events open to alumni in the community?
The campus will continue to honor time-honored traditions, homecoming, Bulldog Fest, graduations, all of those large-scale events. We will continue to host those, but changes are necessary to ensure safety. Campus-wide visitation rules will not eliminate these large events, but will regulate them under a formal large event security framework. Separate perimeter security for ticketed events, wristband, digital tickets are pre-registration requirements, clear bag policies, bag checks, restricted item screening, control entry exit points. Those are just some of the things that we will implement to ensure that we can safely continue to conduct large-scale events.
Thank you.
And now I also want to add that these changes within this framework will be consistent with the risk-based review. For maximum occupancy, we'll adjust event layouts to prevent overcrowding. And again, we will ensure that lighting and cameras reinforce our security for event zone, as well as contracting with the necessary local law enforcement agencies to assist us, or private contractors to assist us. All of these things will be evaluated prior to large-scale events, but rest assured we will continue to host large-scale events.
Thank you. All right, President Conyers, for our parent guidance moving forward, what concrete safety guidance should parents be giving their students right now?
Parents should be giving their students, one, encouragement and advice. Parents should be helping their students, especially those new students transitioning to college, to understanding the rules of college life, to understanding the student code of conduct, to understanding that never allow unauthorized guests into your residence hall, especially guests whom you barely know, especially guests that you just met through someone very, very recently. Understand that while marijuana is legal, Recreational marijuana is legal in 24 states. It is illegal in South Carolina. So while we may have students that come to us from different states where perhaps marijuana is legal, it is absolutely illegal in South Carolina, and we will enforce that law. We're asking them to also immediately report weapons, threats, or suspicious behavior to an adult or a trusted advisor as soon as possible. We're not asking them to become known as snitches or anything like that, but we want them to find someone that they can trust to tell us there's a weapon in this dorm, there's a weapon in this car, and we will ensure that all of that information remains safe and confidential. We also want you to encourage them to sign up and utilize the Rave Guardian app so that they can receive timely alerts. We also want them to be smart. We want them to have a good time on campus. We want them to have a good time off campus. As a parent of two recently graduated college students, we want you to advise them on how to avoid large, unsanctioned gatherings. Large, unsanctioned gatherings. We want them to have a good time. We want them to meet new friends, but we want them to be smart. We want them to understand, as I tell my students, you are no better than anyone else that you may meet. However, you have more to lose than some people that you are in contact with. So we need parents to explain that to their students, to their nieces, to their loved ones. And I want to say to parents, I know we have parents on here, we have alums with nieces and nephews. I want to say to you that having a weapon, again, in a dorm is illegal. If you have a student, a niece, a nephew, a neighbor, that you cannot stop smoking weed at home, don't send them to South Carolina State University. I'd rather them stay at home with you than come here and go to jail. If you have a young person in your life that you can't stop from carrying a weapon with them, I encourage you to keep them at home, to withdraw them from the university now. Because if we find a weapon in the dorm, that student will be dealt with according to state law and the university policy. So again, those are the things that I will advise parents to advise their students, their nieces, their nephews, their loved ones, their neighbors about responsibility, accountability, and making smart decisions while in college, especially here at South Carolina State University.
Thank you so much, President Conyers. Let's see here. Yeah, we can tell you. Uh-oh. Video just cut out. Just a moment while we work through some technical difficulties here.
Sorry.
Oh, there we go. Welcome to 2026, right?
Yes.
All right, so of all of our questions, that was the conclusion of our questions here. Do you have anything to add here at the end, President Conyers?
I just want to remind the audience here, these concerned parents, these concerned alums, these concerned faculty and staff, that safety is a priority. Thursday morning, prior to the incident, the shooting Thursday night, was my annual briefing to the General Assembly in Columbia. And my number one request was an additional $8 million for police and safety enhancement, which would have included funding for a new modern police station centered in the middle of campus, for higher visibility and deterrence, as well as additional funding for police officers. That was my number one request. This happened Thursday night. Again, I don't govern by email or TikTok, any of those things, but trust me, I get most of them. Someone will call me and say, well, this was on Facebook. And one of those things was, why did the president ask for this $8 million after the event? That absolutely did not happen. This request, again, verifiable information, happened prior to the incident on Thursday. And while that's not consoling, I just wanted to set the record straight that, safety is a priority. I am requesting additional funding at every opportunity, and I will continue to do so, continue to seek funding, short-term and long-term, from many different venues to ensure that our students, our campus, our faculty and staff are safe on this campus. It is my number one priority. I fully understand that students cannot learn if they are in classrooms in fear, that faculty cannot teach if they are in fear, and the same with staff as well as alums and visitors to our campus.
Thank you, President Conyers. So that actually does conclude everything this afternoon. So if there are any...
Let me,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Angel, I do want to say that while we are undergoing some difficult challenges, I've spoken with many presidents across the country, HBCUs and PWIs, and I've looked at what they've done in the aftermath of similar incidents. We will learn from this. We will get stronger. We will remain resilient. And as I think about this, it takes me back to probably, one of the worst college shootings on a college campus, because I was there in Virginia in 2007 when a student killed 30 other students at Virginia Tech. I still remember that. And I saw how they came out stronger. A university now with 38,000 students. I'm reading that report again. I'm looking at what they did to prevent similar incident. We will conduct the appropriate internal and external reviews, after action reviews. We will continue to evaluate ourselves. We will continue to hold ourselves accountable. I will continue to hold those that work for me accountable, and I fully expect the Board of Trustees to continue to hold me accountable. We owe that to each other. We owe it to our students, especially our students.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for being here, and this actually concludes our conversation. You can reach us here at the university if there's anything further at customerservice@scsu.edu. Thank everyone for their time. You guys have a great evening.
Well, Angel, thank you for hosting. And again, we know we had formal questions, individual questions, but Angel, I believe, did a great job at grouping them, addressing the most commonly asked question. And again, we invite you to continue to send questions if your specific question was not answered to the address that Mrs. Pointer provided, so that we can get these answers to you. Again, I thank you for your patience. I look forward to continuing to work with you and your student here on this campus. Thank you, and I thank each of you for the trust that you have placed with us, and I do not take that lightly. And I will work continuously, if I've lost it, to regain it. Thank you.
Thank you, President Conyers. Good evening, everyone.